I'm sure. And it's so good to have Joe and Austin here this morning. Yeah, I knew but he looks so good. I'm proud of him. He's a great boy, good young man. I'm proud of him. This morning, taking our needs before ordained. I think he had, she said he had a stroke. So we need to pray to God this morning. But most of all, pray that let's still continue to remember Sister. He's ready to go back to work or something. So that's good.
I have an unspoken
request.
Okay.
It's all right. Okay.
Seems like.
Lord, we bring before you the needs of your people. Lord, I pray right now, Lord, this is what I pray for Sister Renisha, God. Lord, I pray for this request that Joe gave in this morning. Lord, Sister Judy, that you will be with her tomorrow in her CT scan, Lord. Sister Renisha, God. Lord, I pray for all these ones, Lord God. Lord, that all the unspoken. He said, I'm telling you, it will happen. He said, we shall see the King. We shall see power, blessed out. This world shall stand before his throne. We shall see the King reign on. We shall see the King. We shall see the King. We shall see the complete power and blessing. Our great day coming, there's a great day. I really political question. I said, okay, yeah. I said, I'll give you the answer if I know it, And he said, so as I was praying earlier in the week, this morning, this being Father's Day, and we honor our fathers, and I appreciate that God allowed me to be a father. God allowed me the opportunity that I could train. You think who has raised them in the house of God. All you can do, you begin to question God. And since 2016, it says this, that 19.7 million children, more than 1 in 4 out of 19.7 million children in the world, and this was done in 2016, this census was, are involved in those drugs and alcohol. That's those without a father. But it said with the father that 40% less are likely, less likely. You know what that is? That's a sperm donor. That's exactly what it ends up being. A father is one that takes care of his children. A father is one that loves his children, that corrects them and gives them guidance in the way they should go. And I best I could. I remember years ago, I helped revivals, and I said, well, they know what's going to happen when we leave church if they do. Right back. He makes them understand why he is doing that. And there's a show come on called Father. And then the other day, when I came home, I was sitting in a recliner and with adopted and all like that. He had gotten in some trouble. And it caused some problem. The building, the school burnt down where he and a friend was in the basement smoking a pipe. And it caught on fire, burned it down. And he ran away because he had caused a problem. And so he ran away. He blamed himself. So he ran away. And what did Charles Ingalls do? Immediately he got his buddy and they went looking for him. Good is You're concerned about your child and all. Your Father does. He instructs them and He encourages them and He leads them in the way they should go, and He tells them that. Each and every one of our fathers here this morning, because they deserve it. They deserve the honor because when you raise your child and the way they should go, then God honors you and God blesses you. And if that child drifts away, it's not your fault. You can only be comprehended and not know where they're at. But what I mean is here this morning is that outside of experience, all you have is a limited amount of understanding as to what is being said about this young man and his father. First, this younger son thought, brother, he done most of the work, and I'm adding the younger brother, probably he maybe didn't do a whole lot. And maybe he was got bored, and he thought, man, there's got to be something better than this. I know what I'm talking about. How can Thomas come and do something that I'm better than this? And this is what happened, I believe, with this younger son. He thought, hey, there's got to be something that had it all figured out as to what direction that he was going. And I would take off, and I would go here, and I would go there, and I would do this, and I would do that. Can you imagine this? This is what was on his mind. And so what did he do? He said, it said we do not perceive that this younger son, hey, he didn't have a bit of rebellion in him. The word don't say that about that he rebelled within because the scripture tells us that he said, Father, give me the portion of goods that followed to me. In other words, because we know that usually when a child is a rebel or a child is not honoring his mother and father, or a child is just constantly in and out of trouble and all that. Usually, a mother or father will kind of write them off, maybe not write them off as far as being rid of them, but they do not get as much maybe as the son that does all the work for him and all like that. See, and we'll see later on, and we won't talk about it this morning, but if you read the scriptures later on, the older son couldn't understand why this younger son was getting all the glory. Why he was, but we're going to talk about that. We find that it is important to note that this younger son did not ask. The Bible says, he said, give me the portion of goods that falls to me. He did not ask for his father's opinion. He did not ask for his father's advice. He did not ask what his father's feelings were about the matter. He said, give me the portions of goods. I remember, and it's been many years ago, but I remember when we moved back to Kentucky from Arkansas where we lived, and I worked for a while there in Frankfort. I'm talking about Strict Street. Buddy, she kept a rein, and she kept a lid on us that we wasn't allowed to hardly do anything. Anything that maybe was not moral, or anything which was good, or anything. She just cut us off like that. And so I decided in my own mind, as I think probably this young man did, I thought, I'm leaving here. I'm tired of listening. I'm tired of obeying. I'm tired of 18 years old having to pull my pants down and let my mama pull my hair. So what did I do? I went up to the. He said, yeah. He said, or how old are you? And I said, well, I'm 17. I won't be 18 until December. He said, I feel like you've never been out beneath your mother's womb. And my thing was, I want to do something for the country. Which that wasn't what I was thinking at the time. I thought I just want to get away from home. And he said, okay. He said, now in the service and leaving home. I said, please don't tell her. He said, okay. He said, I'll sign for you and I won't tell her. But he said, the day's coming when she's going to know about it. And buddy, when she found out about it, believe me, the roof come off the house. And she let me have it. But I'd already joined, and he'd already signed me to go, and I joined. But let me tell you what, And we're gonna see here in this story, as we just read the scriptures here. It didn't take me long. The first place I thought that when I went in the Navy that I'd be on the ship and I'd be seeing all those fancy ports that my uncle had told me about and visiting all them fancy places that he had told me about. I thought that's what it was. And the first place they give me orders, they said, Alvin, we're putting you on the USS Hamner destroyer and you're going to Vietnam. I said, oh Lord, you got to be kidding me. But once I got there, and those bullets began to fly, you hear the explosion, then I began to pray, I began to say, Lord, I'm sorry that I have done this. And my mom could tell you, if she was still alive, she'd tell you, man, I said, pray for me, Mama. That's all I could do. I'd write her a letter. I'd say, Mama, please pray for me. Please pray for me. I wasn't living the life that I should be living. I was doing things that I shouldn't be doing, along with the other guys, but I would say, Mama, please pray for me. Please pray for me that I'll come home. And what did she do? I guarantee there wasn't a moment when she did, but I was away from home. And the thing about it is, like most good fathers, this father here, that we read about that Jesus, now see, this is Jesus' words. He's telling this story. If you read it in bit, Jesus is telling this story. As I just told the story of my dad, he ended up, it didn't take long for me to begin to learn a lesson. And you know what? Your Father is watching. He's looking for you. He's searching for you. So what you're going to do is waste it. Use up all of our blessings at one time if He gave them all to us at one time. You're not in the nursing home. You're not. Every day He blesses you. And He pours His blessings. Verse 13. He took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. Now the word riotous here carries the meaning of reckless, wasteful, excessive, and lewd. Riotous is where we get our English word riot. So evidently he stirred up a lot of trouble. He stirred up a lot of meanness. He stirred up a lot of stuff. Hanging out with the guys and going into the bars and going to the joints that he should be going to and all. So it says, and that word means public uproar or disturbance. He was in uproar in the public, wasting his inheritance. Wasting that part of his inheritance that his father had given him. And finally, the inevitable happened. He was what? He was broke. He was busted. He was hungry. He was in a literal stinking mess. He found himself in the hog pen. But you know what? We can thank God for the hog pens, because if we didn't get in the mess, if we hadn't got ourselves into a predicament, but when you get down and you can't figure a way out, I've done it many times. I know what I'm talking about, and I know the way. If I begin to go around and I begin to ask each and every one, do you have stuff in your past? Every one of us will say yes. Because I did some things that I was ashamed of. But as far as being where I am right now, I would not change it. But hold it all where he took his hand and he reached down and he pulled me out. It was the hog pen that caused him to reflect on what he had left behind. It was the hog pen that helped him make the correct decision to go back to his father's house. You see, the hog pen, don't never take it lightly when you're in the hog pen. Because sometimes that is the only time that you will hear, and you don't have nothing to eat but garbage. What do? You call on Him. And it makes you realize where you came from. It makes you realize how God had blessed you in the past. How God had taken care of Himself to a citizen of that country. In other words, somebody that lived there. And He sent him into his fields to feed the swine. You know, He didn't send him in there to drive a tractor. You know, Ezekiel 17 here it said, and when He came to Himself, He said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger. Man, my servants that serve me every day, man, they're eating the bread off the table. Man, they're eating some. Every day, the daddy probably says, son, have you talked to anybody that maybe saw him? For you to come back. But that's a real father. He can see it great well. His father seen that when the younger son made the decision to leave. Father, and I'm sure the father said this, he'll be back. Because I'm sure that the children when they leave, you say, well, there'll be that looks from the heart. Many of today's fathers, he ran and he fell on his neck. And what did he do? He kissed him. Oh, but a father's kiss. He knew that everything was okay. When his daddy grabbed him, hugged his neck, and kissed him on the neck, he knew that, hey, everything is working. Everything is going to be all right. He loves me. And like many of today's fathers, this son, father, it said that he fell on his neck and he kissed him. There's nothing like a father's kiss. There's nothing like a father's compassion. There's nothing like a father's hug. There's nothing like the embrace of a father. And in closing this morning, some of you that are here today may have never experienced that kind of love from your father. But I know one thing. You've got a father that loves you more than anything else. Because the father that you have, you may not have an earthly father, or you may not have had an earthly father that loved you and cared for you and all of that. I've heard stories. But I tell you one thing, you've got a heavenly father that loves you beyond measure. He loves you more than you can even imagine. Some of you may long for your father to just reach out and grab a hold of you. And some of us here, some of you may be hungry for your father's firm hold around your neck. For some, your father may not be with you today, and mine's gone. I said the other day, and I looked through my pictures, looking for a picture that I can put on Facebook to honor my dad. And all those old memories begin to roll back into my mind. He was one of those dads that whatever you needed, all you had to do was call him. He didn't care what time it was. If you broke down, but they had a horse and they would pull the motor out, they would work on it. They done my car. He was one of those dads that, yeah, he might get angry with you. And I've seen him kick Joe in the back ends. But you know what? He loved us. He showed his love over and above. Put him under his wings and protected him. But Jesus watches us and he raises up a standard against him. In other words, but if you raise up a big old wall that is too big that you can't get under, you know, it's low enough, it's too high that you can't get over, it's too wide you can't get around. And the enemy can't get too much when Jesus has got his hand on you. I saw a cartoon the other day. Individual kneeler on the ground. You may have seen on Facebook. I've got